When you think of works of art, what do you think of? Many people might say Starry Night, the Mona Lisa, maybe a work by Monet or Manet, but I think of a Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte? I don't know, but it's a very beautiful piece. And many of you might have been introduced to it through the movie from the 80s, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That classic scene where they just stare at it for a long time. I saw it once in person, and it's quite a beautiful painting. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would have been. Well, in the movie it was quite large too, but it's just the scale of it is huge. But Pointillism is such an interesting art form. It was created in around the 1880s by George Seurat and Paul Sanier. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing those. It was a part of the Impressionist era, and they were quite criticized for this work as it was just a bunch of dots, but nowadays it's highly praised. So, why am I talking about this in a photography video? Well, I am going to show you how to hopefully try and emulate the beauty of these Pointillism pieces in Photoshop. So, before we get into that, this is Good Enough Photography. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I need interaction. And, I post tutorials, hopefully every other Wednesday. And yeah, let's get into it. So, this is just the painting this is just the picture I took. I took it a while ago. I don't know, I think it looks pretty. Yeah. So, this is an optional step, but I'm just gonna do it. So, I will have this in the description because it's a high resolution version of the sunny day on La Grande whatever. And so, see, it's pretty high resolution. But, so I'm going to have this just open on Photoshop because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my image and I'm actually going to go to Image, Adjustments, Match Color. Then I'm going to go all the way down to this little source button and I'm going to press my painting I had in there. And it's going to adjust my painting and the colors and stuff, not my painting, my picture, to just match the painting more. And I think that kind of emulates the style a little bit more because a lot of these pieces have more, not exactly washed out, but it's not as vibrant as you would think because, well, there is still, not like white space, but there's space in between the colors. So it does have a bit of a washed out look, even though it is quite vibrant for what it is. So and also, I think it goes back to the original style we're trying to emulate. So that's why I'm just doing a quick color match. So, first thing I want to do is I want to convert it into a smart object. Always do that before most of the time when you're doing a tutorial, you're going to want to convert it into a smart object. Now, we're going to want to go down here and make sure this is on black and white. But make sure that the black is on top and the white is on bottom, because when we do the pointillize effect, you're going to want the white background. So, we're going to go up to Filters, scroll all the way down to Pixelate, then go to Pointillize. You see it has the white. Right now, we're going to start with a 10. Now, it depends on the size of your image, what you want to go with. If you have a larger image, I would say you could go to 12. I mean, it really just depends. You kind of want something with this spacing, though. So, if you have a really small image, you can't go under the cell size of 4, so you might have to make it slightly larger, unless you want a bigger Pointillism effect. Yet again, it's personal preference. So, I'm going to press OK, and it's going to look awful right now. So, I'm going to press this little, icon over here for my blending options, and I'm going to change this to darken. That's going to get rid of all the white. It's canceling out all the white. But now, it looks a little funky because it's pretty dark and it doesn't look great right now. So that's where the next step comes in. We are going to do the pixelate again. Well, I forgot a step. We're going to press this little switch button here. That's going to make our background black this time. So now we're going to go back to filter, go back to pointillize, but this time we're going to do 7. I would recommend decreasing by 3 cell sizes each time you add another layer of pointillism. I just think it adds a good effect, a good variation. So for this one, we're also going to go to that blending layer, and we are going to choose lighten instead of darken. That's going to replace all of the black. And you can see we're getting more depth in our image. Now, there are many random colors that don't exactly match, but, I mean, yet again, there's similar parts in normal pointillism. As you see in this black umbrella, there's bits of red, bits of... Now, it's not as vibrant as shown in my image, but you can't be too perfect with digital, sadly. It would be better if you just did it yourself on a canvas, but that takes a while. You gotta figure out how to paint. You gotta do pointillism. Yeah, so this is easier. So next, what you are going to do is you're gonna click this little icon down here where we had the black, and you're gonna go to B right now, B right there, and you're gonna put 50. That's gonna give us a perfect neutral gray. So we're gonna do another pointillize effect. This time we're gonna go all the way down to size 4, and you should be looking like this right now. So now, this time we're gonna click blend options again. But we are going to go to pin light. Pin light. Where is it? There it is. Go to pin light. And you can see our image is already looking a little better, but it's also still looking a little funky. It's a little dark. It's a little... yeah. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to image, adjustments, and we're going to go to shadow and highlight. In shadow and highlight, you're going to set shadows to 15, highlights to 15, and color to 0. To make sure we're not adding to make sure we're not adding any excess color. Then, this is optional, but I am going to make the radius 100 for both of these, so that it blends a little more nicely in between the shadows and the darkness. So as you can see here, you're getting that effect where you don't know what it is, but you zoom out and you can tell it's flowers. The farther you get away, the more easy it is to see the image, which yet again is the same with this one. I mean, it's more defined because when you're actually painting it, you have the benefit of choosing where the dots go, but when you're using filters, you don't have the benefit of choosing where the dots go, unless you digitally pointillize, which is something I do not want to do right now. Maybe one day, we'll see. So now, what we are going to do is we are gonna duplicate our image. There it is. So now that that is duplicated, we are going to, well, I am going to just click on it if you have a brush on, so it'll raterize it? I don't know. It makes it not a smart object anymore. You could probably press a setting, but just putting on the brush tool and quickly clicking it is just, I don't know, it's easy. So now what we are going to do with our image is we want that 3D effect, because right now it's just flat. I mean, it's literally flat, and it's gonna stay literally flat because it's pixels, but we want it to look not flat. So we're gonna emboss. What we're gonna do is we're gonna emboss. So we're gonna go to filter, stylize, and then you go to emboss. Now, it looks really bad right now, but what I'm gonna say you should stick to is around an angle of -135. Yet again, this is optional. You can change the angle to whatever you want it to be. I'm just going with that. I'm gonna keep my height to around 2 and my amount pretty high up because we have a lot of dots, so you want to crank it up so each dot has its own like emboss. You can do the angle however you want. You can do the height however you want. I just think this is good for my image. The thing with tutorials is a lot of times people advertise them as one size fits all, but then you follow it exactly and then your image looks nothing like the tutorial you just watched. So yeah, unless you use the exact image they used. But no, you have to experiment a little bit. So this is pretty good right now. So what we're going to do now is we are going to change it to overlay, wherever that is. There it is. And it looks a little funky right now. There's way too many colored dots right here, and it's hurting my brain. So we're going to go to image, adjustments, and desaturate. So, you see that got rid of some of that color, so that's pretty good. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to opacity, and you can play around with this. It's just however intense you want it. So 50 might be a little too much. I might go down to 30. It really just depends on what you want for your own image. As you can see, it adds that depth, that nice depth we're wanting. So I would say, yeah, I would say 30. Maybe I'll try at 25, actually. Yeah, I like that. I think 25 is better. Maybe 30. I'm indecisive. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it at 30, actually. And so now what we're gonna do is, because it has that texture, but it looks a little weird, because you don't paint pointillism on, like, a completely flat surface. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to filter. Sorry, I lied. I am going to combine these layers, merge layers, and now I go to filter, filter gallery, and I go to texturizer. Now, we want this to be very subtle, because if we add too much, it'll look insane, because we already have so much on here. But if you add just a tiny bit of texture, and you can play around with this however you want, but it makes it look like it's on a canvas. So when you zoom in, you get the texture of the paint. And actually, I might go back. I should have done that on a smart object, actually. And actually, I might do a smaller relief, because you don't want too much. Because, yeah, I think a 2 is good, actually. Because you still want to be able to see the texture of the paint, but when you zoom in, you want to see that canvas. Because if we go to an actual one, you can see that canvas and the dots. You can see the dots, but also the canvas. So that's what you kind of want to emulate. It's not going to be perfect because it is digital, but I would say that's a pretty good pointillism. Now, is it a little fuzzy? Yes. But is all pointillism? Yes. Is this going to be everyone's cup of tea? No. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, look at... pointillism in general has that fuzzy vibe, because it just is. Now, the thing with pointillism is they can get these nice sharp curves because, well, they're legitimately doing it by hand. Sadly, I am not legitimately doing it by hand. But this is pretty good for what you can get in Photoshop. I've seen many tutorials, and they're very good. A lot of them helped inspire what I'm doing here. But they all have certain flaws. Some of them, I think the colors don't really match the pointillism style. And yes, I do know that pointillism is still used today, so technically colors don't mean anything. But I do believe that if you want to encapsulate pointillism, which peaked mostly during the Impressionism era, which had these style of colors, then yes. And some of them also were just like one layer of dots, which looked okay, but it didn't give that vibe of pointillism, because pointillism is a lot of dots of different varying sizes. So, that was my video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and have an amazing day.